Welcome to this week's episode of Young or Dumb. We have a new guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jackie Boyce, and I'm the owner of JB Photography.
Welcome to Young or Dumb. My name's Marianna, and I'm interested in learning a variety of topics. But the thing is, I'm not much of a reader. Join me as I interview a mix of people in different careers or topics to see if I'm just new to adulting and haven't learned this stuff yet, or if I should have known this information already.
Thank you for introducing yourself. Why don't you say what your job responsibilities are as CEO of your own photography company?
Yeah, so basically running your own small business, you have to have many different hats on. So you're photographer, your editor, your businesswoman, you're doing all these different things, your marketer, but basically just trying to get clients to come and book with you and then keep them around for a long time.
Yeah.
And make relationships with people.
Nice. So how did you start getting into photography?
Well, I have always had it as a hobby, but business-wise, I got into college and realized I was a broke college student.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I need to make a little bit of extra money, and just started booking sessions here and there with friends, and then started moving on to advertising a little bit, and then from there it just blew up.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what age did you get your first camera?
Oh gosh. First digital pocket camera,
real
camera. Probably, I think that was my senior year of high school.
Okay, so
yes.
You had the camera going into college.
Like a nice professional one, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you just brought it. So then were you just doing graduation photos because it was college, or just all kinds?
I started out actually with friends, so it was a lot of portrait headshots and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working into graduation because I started in the fall, I believe, of actually taking clients and stuff like that. So it was into the fall season, everyone wants the pretty leaves and stuff like that. So I would do some family sessions, and then into the spring was when I started graduation.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So did you switch what did you go into school with?
So I graduated with a bachelor's, but I have a business degree, which helps me out a little bit, running my own business, but I didn't do a photography degree.
Mm-hmm. Is it your full-time job?
It is, yes.
Oh, that's
I finally
nice.
went full-time when COVID hit, because everyone was losing their jobs or quitting and switching things up, and I'm like, this is my time to jump into it, and if I don't do it now, I'm going to regret it, and it's been years later, and here I am.
Nice.
I'm still doing it.
So how many hours a week would you say you're
Every hour, every waking hour.
Every hour.
Every single hour. No, it depends. When you're shooting, if you're actually shooting with a client, you might be there 15 minutes, an hour, doing a regular session. If you're doing events or weddings, it's obviously a little bit longer. But you're spending time editing, you're responding to clients, you're scheduling, you're sending out invoices and contracts and different stuff like that. So I always tell people I don't have set hours for anything. I just work when I need to, or when I have the time.
Yeah. But it's still nice because you have flexibility with when you schedule stuff.
Yeah. And what I tell people is, yes, you have the nice flexibility of it, but a lot of times you have to work when you can. So for my example is with the weather. Hello, thank you so much. Here, bring you down. And cut. Okay. So with the weather though, it just depends. The last couple days it's been raining a lot, so I spend the time editing. If it's really, really nice out and you have the weekend availability, you have to do that. So you have to be disciplined on when you're going to work and when you want your free time.
Yeah. How many hours a week are you say you're actually doing the shooting people?
It depends. So some days, today I shot for an hour in the morning and then supposed to have an hour tonight, but obviously the weather's not the best. So it just depends. It varies every day. Some days I don't shoot at all. Some days I'm shooting from morning till night, going from session to session. So it honestly just varies.
Yeah. Do you have a specific kind that you're shooting? I don't know if kind is the right word.
Do you mean
subject?
Subject.
Yeah,
okay.
There's sports, and then there's weddings, or then there's animals.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say lifestyle and portrait photography, so that could be really anything. I do a lot with humans, I'll put it that way. I've done like cars before, I've done pets, real estate, different things like that, but mostly people. And my favorite type of session would be like engagement, graduation, different things like that, where you're working with adults and you're perfecting things. I love working with kids, but it's often you're chasing them around a park, trying to get anything out of them. And those are fun to look back at as a parent, I'm sure, to see their true personality and how they're acting and being goofballs and stuff. But my favorite is graduation season, so right now, and then engagements, because you can perfect things, you can fix the hair and the pose and make it look exactly how you want to.
Have you done it where you're like hiding in a place for like an engagement?
I have a few times.
Ooh, what's your favorite time?
I had a friend or a pair of friends that were in a relationship, and they contacted me, the guy did, and he's like, I really want to go to the city. I want to do this in front of, I believe it was the art museum. It was beautiful out there, and I'm sitting there in like a ball cap. I'm like, do I need a wig today? Because her and I are friends, so obviously she would see me and know. So I'm trying to look like a typical Chicago like tourist with my little ball cap, and I'm like, do I need a wig for this? And all of that type of stuff. But anything that I really like sessions with people that I know, because you get to their personalities, how they work together, if it's a goofy couple, if it's like a romantic couple, what the type of photos they want. So as you start to build those relationships with clients that I've been seeing for years, you get to see their personality come through more. You get to see transition photos, so when they started dating, engagement, wedding, babies, all of that stuff. So that is probably one of my favorite parts with the job too.
I think that'd be like so amazing to be there for all those like happy moments,
the milestones.
That's
really cool. I enjoy that part a lot.
How did you like start marketing yourself?
A lot of people, this is just me personally, but a lot of people will do paid marketing. I've never done paid marketing. So you can go through like Facebook or like a marketing company to help you with that. But I do a lot of mom groups on Facebook and a lot of community groups. I'm not a mom and I don't live in any of these communities, but it's always like, hey, looking for a photographer, who do you guys, suggest, or different things like that. So I'll go on there, comment my information, or I have a lot of word of mouth. That's mostly where I get my business from, is I build relationships with people, they refer me to others. So instead of most people just going to Google, or some people would go to Google and say photographers in the area, which you can have that on Google and your SEO and all of that. But I just do word of mouth and marketing myself.
Do you have a certain radius that you would travel to?
Anywhere. Someone please take me to Florida. Take me to Florida. Montana, Tennessee, anywhere. Give me somewhere pretty. No, but I've traveled to surrounding states for sessions.
Okay.
Not too far, but I would love to go and do like a destination wedding or something like that.
Okay, so you talked about how you mostly take photos of humans.
Yes.
So do you have different cameras for different shoots?
So I have 2 different cameras. My main one I keep for shooting all of the time. My second one is just like a backup if I'm at a wedding and something happens to it. It's my old one. So instead, when I upgraded, instead of getting rid of it, I just kept it. Which a lot of wedding photographers will have just in case, something happens and you need another camera right away. And then I have multiple lenses. So there is my regular portrait lens, so that will help you with just like regular nice photos, just kind of like what is in front of you, if that makes sense. And then wide angle, which helps you with the scope of the room. So that's if you're, the wide angle will help if you're in a room. So if you're in, a bridal suite doing wedding photos or something like that, or just kind of like a tighter area, you can get a wide span of the room. And then I just have like multiple variations of that. So those are the 2 types of lenses that I use.
What other stuff do you bring?
I bring my flashes, extra batteries, battery packs, and then...
When you say flashes, do you mean those things that, the ones that I've seen are like black and they look like umbrellas?
So those I have in my home studio.
Okay.
I bring a portable flash for something like a wedding or an event, so that just slides on top of the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So those will travel easier, and then the one in my home studio is like the big umbrella one.
So you bring that stuff when you travel.
Yeah.
So then what kind of things do you have? Do you bring props when you travel places?
Not really. So like the only thing I really bring for regular sessions, like if it's cap and gown, I have like different schools, their cap and gown, so people can use them earlier, because a lot of times you don't get them until like a week before graduation, and then everyone's calling you. So I just have those, and then I will do like themed mini sessions. So my favorite one was Michael Myers. So we did fall photos, so parents would book you for the session. It could be parents or siblings or whoever. I've had ranges of little kids to grandparents. So
Little kids?
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. But what we'll do is like regular fall photos, so they think you're just doing normal, nice photos. And then we dress my brother-in-law up as Michael Myers.
Oh no.
And he comes out from behind and scares you, so you get the scared photos. And then they get photos with Michael Myers after. So it's like a fun Halloween shoot. So we'll provide props for that. I do like Christmas sessions, Valentine's Day, Easter, all of those. So the themed ones, I will have the props for.
Okay. So then at your home studio, that's where you'll have more props?
Yes. So I'll set up like a little scene for whatever holiday we're doing or whatever themed one. So like this summer, I think we're doing fishing, lemonade stand, and a beach theme. So I'll have those backdrops up, and then different props to go along with that. So you can just show up as is. But a lot of times for graduation or like I had a senior this morning, and she brought in like, you know, like those letter boards that people will put stuff on. Sometimes people will bring like their stack of books and different props like that. So I always tell people to bring their own based on what their session is and what represents them. So like obviously I don't have like their baseball glove and their whatever. I'm like, what sport is this? How do you play? I don't know. So all of that stuff, I'm like, you guys can bring whatever you want to help out with your session to make it more you.
And your home studio, is it just a room? How does that look?
Yeah, so I have a video on my Facebook page, but I have it in the front part of my home. So it's a home studio. You walk in the front, and then there's a couch for, a lot of times the kids want to just take a nap. And then you walk through, and then I have the holiday setup, so whatever theme we're doing for that holiday or mini session there. And then to the next side is all my paper rolls. So I'll have like regular headshots, birthday sessions, different things like that, a lot of cake smashes, stuff like that on the paper rollers.
So and those are just solid backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Like when you take a school picture, kind of?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So those will just be like the plain ones, and then the holiday ones are on the other side.
Okay. Do you find that you always have enough space? Like do you have a max number of people for a home session?
It depends. You know, I would say immediate family, so anything that's like extended family, we'll try to do outside or at an alternative location. But my home studio, I would say like 6 or less, probably on the paper one, and then depending on how big I go for whatever holiday. So some of them are made just for kids, where it's like a little small backdrop. So if it was 2 parents and a kid or something like that, they would just fit. But it just depends on which one we're using.
Do you do anything for safety with having all these like strangers in your house?
Yes, actually. So I was literally just talking to some people about this the other day. With it being a home studio, a lot of small businesses will face the same issue, but you have to work with what you have and whatever area you can, and the pricing for, you know, just outside buildings is very expensive. So working out of your home has its pros and cons. Like, you know, everything's set up, you're ready to go, you don't have to travel. So those are always good things, but safety-wise, you don't always know who's coming to your house, which can be dangerous. So I kind of do, not like a background check, but like I'll make sure their Facebook looks legit if they're messaging me from there. or just see if we have like mutual friends, different stuff like that, just to make sure it's not like a profile that was created yesterday and has no profile picture coming to my house.
Red flag. Yeah.
Red flag, exactly. And then anything that has to do with coming to my house, they do a deposit for their session to have that paid ahead of time, so you're not just handing out your address to everybody.
True.
And then they're not showing up and all of that. So we have deposits in set, and just making sure their information comes through. You have their phone number, their full name, all of that. So
yeah.
Other than that, I'm my full bodyguard. So I don't have any protection. I have a Chihuahua. Oh, so she can be vicious.
Yeah, but she's also
really like yeah. But if I said attack, I'm sure she would help me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's all you need then.
Exactly. Not much, but it's not too many. I shoot majority outside, so it's most of the time me meeting a stranger in a park, which is also not really safe.
Yeah, still not the best, but it's better than your home.
Yeah. Well, and that's when people ask me what you do. I'm like, well, I just meet strangers in parks and secluded areas all the time for a living. So here's my pepper spray.
Here's my pepper spray.
No, I never had to use.
How long have you been doing it?
Photography?
Well, like the business.
Oh, I thought you meant the pepper spray.
No,
how long have I been doing the business? Fall of 2017 is technically when I started taking.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Like 5.5 years.
Yeah, so I just celebrated my 5 years.
If something was going to happen,
would have happened by now.
Exactly.
Well, and I try to be smart about it, so I'll park in like the main parking area, wait for them to get out of the car, make sure it's them first. I exchange like what their car information is, so I know this car that pulls up that parked next to me, if you're supposed to be in a blue Jeep Cherokee and there's only a man in there and I was messaging with a woman, then I would know, but nothing like that's ever happened. And I make sure we're in areas, at least for parking, that have other cars around. I go to places that people are walking and stuff like that. So good. I try to take precautions, and I write down all my information in my planner at home of like, this is the client, this is the location. I message them on Facebook, so if I was to ever go missing, they have the information.
You tell someone?
I have it in my planner. It got kind of old after a couple years to like put in a group chat every time where I was going, but it's written down like on a piece of paper in my room.
Yes.
So it's information of at least where I'm going to be if something was to happen. Like, hey, you didn't come home today. Where are you at? And then it's like, oh, Joe Schmo, and they went to this park at this time, So I take a little bit of precaution. Just a little bit. Nobody hurt me.
Yeah. She has pepper spray,
okay? I could spray it right now.
And a Chihuahua, okay?
Full threat. Take that out.
I like that.
Full threat. She's scary. I'm scary. It's all, we're a package deal.
They're gonna beat you up if you try to hurt her. Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
We lost track.
We did. Okay. So you mentioned that when people come to your house, you do a deposit.
Yeah.
So when you go to a location, like when you're like outside somewhere, you don't take a deposit?
Okay, so any session that's like just a regular, could be graduation, senior, maternity, engagement, anything like that, just a regular appointment, I don't do deposits because things change all the time. But anything that's like back to back where other people would be losing the spot, or if 5 out of the 10 don't show up, it's not what I was anticipating, stuff like that. So.
Is there a certain amount of time someone can like cancel on you before you're just like, okay, never mind, you're not coming?
Like in a regular session?
Yeah.
So usually I'll confirm with people the day before for their appointment, and then if they say yes, we're good to go. But I have had some people that will cancel like as I'm on the way, as I'm already there. That's only happened a few times, but usually if it's like weather related, I'm already looking at it. So it's like, okay, we're kind of on the fence. Is it going to rain?
Yeah.
Should we go through with it? So like that is both on our part because it's Mother Nature related.
Yeah.
But it's only happened a few times where people have completely been like, yeah, I'm coming, and then they don't.
That's good.
Yeah, out of the 5.5 years, I think I can only count a few times, so not too many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So when do people pay you? Is it after you do the picture taking or after you send them the edited photos?
So I come for the session, we shoot, they pay me, I go home, edit, and then they have their photos within 7 days.
Oh, okay.
For like a normal session. Yeah.
So your time frame, your sessions, what are the time frames or time slots they can book?
So regular sessions would be 15, 30, or 60 minutes. And then there's event and wedding hours. So those vary. But that just depends on whatever package you're looking for. Regular sessions, though, are 15, 30, or 60 minutes.
And so on your website, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, it said that they can bring as many outfits as they want.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. So if you're doing like a 15-minute, I usually would suggest like one outfit. If it's 30 minutes, I would suggest 2. 60 minutes up to 3. After that, it's kind of like it takes you so long to change and do all of that. Where a lot of times with the most we get for outfit changes would be like senior or graduation is mostly that, or probably engagement or maternity.
And I'm sure if they're booking like graduation pictures, they're not just going to book 15 minutes, right? Wouldn't it be more so they can change?
Some people want to do senior sessions and then have outfit changes. Some people will do cap and gown at the end of the year and do just cap and gown and like one outfit. So those are typically like the 15-minute, or they book like the full hour and then they want to do cap and gown and multiple outfits, their sports, their college pick, all of that.
Yeah. Because when I did mine, it was like a few years ago, but when I did my senior pictures, I only had one, no, I had multiple, but I went to like Cantigny, and like I did it like with my aunt, so I wasn't like paying her, but we were there like the whole day.
Yeah, you can take a long time.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are just like, we want to just get some nice photos. We can go past that time too if you want to, but it's just like, when you're walking around campuses and different stuff like that, or large parks, and it takes a while to walk and all of that. So yeah, it just varies based on what people are looking for. Sometimes you get the teenage boys that are like, I don't even want 5 minutes. I don't want to be here. You know, sometimes those are the dads of the group. It's you get people like that all the time. Or you get the girly girls that want like 10 outfits and they want the glitter and the props. And, that was me too. So I'm like, I'm so excited, and they're like, some people are like, I don't want to be here.
And that was my
mom's forcing me. My mom's forcing me to do this. So you get like two ends of the spectrum on what people are looking for and how enthusiastic they are. So I try to make it as painless as possible, as exciting as possible, but you just, each day's different. Each client's different. That's okay.
So with a 15-minute session, is there like an average amount of photos that people get, or does it really just depend on?
Really depends. So now if you have, like I said earlier, a little kid running around a park, the way I don't structure it is because I don't want to promise you 10 photos and then have a screaming kid that we're standing outside for 2 hours and you can't guarantee 10 photos or something like that. So I do it by time frame. So I can schedule perfectly. So I know, hey, I can book my next session 10 minutes after this, or however long it takes me to get there. And then B, also because you don't know how somebody's going to act. So if it's a little kid that doesn't want to be there and having a temper tantrum, or, you know, a teenage boy that's just like, whatever, I don't want to do this anymore. So I do it by time frame. So 15 minutes, it really just depends, or 30 or 60 or however many. It just depends on what type of session you're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. When you were deciding that, did you look at other companies, or did you kind of just know that from starting off in college?
That's a good question. So I would say I definitely took input from other photographers. I had a mentor that I worked with, and I was doing some classes and different stuff like that. But looking at other photographers in your area is very important, because here is different than Chicago, is different than the middle of nowhere. So it's just, it varies on who's around you, but also taking into account how much you value your work. And so some photographers will offer photo sessions and they give you the photos, like all of them, and will edit them unless you have an additional cost. For me, I don't like to give out work unless it's perfected. So for me, I'm like nitpicking every little thing in the photo to have it perfected. But to me, that's why you pay a professional. You know what I mean? You pay for those tiny little hairs to be taken away from your face when it's windy out, or the cigarette butts on the ground, and you know, the raccoon in the trash can. I don't know, whatever you find. So like those different things I feel like you pay for. So I feel like that is what makes it a good session, because you want to look at your photos and be like, wow, that's perfect. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I set up my structure that way, so you can do it by time frame, and then I just include any quality images. So if I have to get this one family shot and dad's turning his head in this one and the kid's crying in this one, we can head swap that and make a perfect picture or something like that. So I just include any quality images is the way that I do it. It's a lot easier with adults because you know each pose that you do, you're going to get a copy of. When it's kids, it's just kind of like, oh, you got something sometimes? Yeah. Like, that's great. I didn't even know we got that. And that's a lot of parents that will respond with that. And it's just, you have to be able to play with them and run around, and that's how you get authentic smiles. You're not always going to get that perfect smiling picture. Sometimes you're just swinging them and running around and playing tag, and
I feel like that's where like the eye comes from, like to have an eye for photography and just like catching moments like that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and that's my favorite thing is when people ask me what I like most about my job is I find it so cool, and this might be super nerdy, but you're never going to get that moment or time back in life. So you're going to look back at your graduation photos and you're never going to get that back. So you have actual documentation of that day and of that time, which I think is so cool. Super nerdy, but I really like that. That's my favorite part of it, is being able to give people their memories and like reflection of their time.
See, I always feel like conflicted about that. Well, not like moments like that, like I agree. Yeah. But then I'll go to like a concert, and even when you just see concerts like of like videos, everyone has their phones up, and I'm like, sad. But you're not living in the moment, but also you do want to capture that because you're never going to be there again. So I always just go back and forth.
I try to tell people for like those instances, you want to document something, but you don't need to be on your phone the entire time, you know, or people that are, I just had this the other day at a baby shower where they hire me to be there to take those photos and those memories, and you have somebody walking around like on their phone. I'm like, I'm here for that reason, getting the same shot you are.
Yours is a lot better.
Well, thank you. But besides like Grandma Betty with her iPhone too.
Exactly.
I'm not roasting Grandma Betty, I promise. Cut. I'm just saying. Back to. But yeah, I had that sort of instance where people want to like record those moments and take those photos and stuff like that, but that's what I'm hired for, so you can enjoy that moment and I can do the work in documenting all of that. So I think that's also just like a society thing too, is we've grown up to start doing that and always having our phone and whatnot. But that's what I tell people, you know, even if you don't have a photographer, just take the pictures of people, take your candids, just get any photos you can, because you're not going to get that time back. You're not going to have those memories again if you don't take them. So just take the pictures. That's going to be my new slogan. Just take the pictures.
That's good.
That's a good one. I'm going to put that on the back of the shirt.
There you go.
That's good. Write that down.
Yeah. Well, it's documented now. Nice.
Yeah.
So when you're editing, what are you using to edit? Well, I guess, can you like list all of the equipment you use? Like what kind of camera do you use?
So I have a Canon R6. And then for editing, I go through and use Adobe, which is just a general program. So there's multiple different programs within that. So it's like an umbrella to what I use. But Photoshop and Lightroom Classic are the two that I use. So I'll input through Lightroom, sort through them, figure out which ones I want to use, and then put them into Photoshop and go through and do more corrections.
What is it? You said Lightroom is what you use to just put them in?
Yep. So I'll upload them through there, do basic lighting. So if it's like a little bit darker and they need to be a little bit brighter, different things like that. Or the temperature of the photos, different things like that. Then I'll put them into Photoshop and I'll go through and take out the cigarette butts and the raccoon in the trash can and all of those types of bigger types of things. Yeah.
Do you like the editing part?
There's pros and cons to both. I like shooting because I get to actually have relationships with people and actually talk with them, and if I didn't have that, I would just be like in my house all the time. So I like that social aspect of it. But then you come home and it's like, okay, you can relax, do your editing, snuggle my dog. My dog's in my lap all the time when I'm editing. So like that part is good. My favorite part of the editing is having it all come together and give you kind of like a storyline or tell a story. A lot of times with weddings, especially, where you get from start to finish and you're like, wow, this looks so good.
So you kind of already talked about your favorite part. So what is your least favorite part?
That's a tough one. Tough part of the job overall or photography, like more specific?
The job.
The job.
We'll do both, but start with the job.
Sometimes it's wearing too many hats and you feel very overwhelmed when all you want to do is like shoot. Sometimes, you're stuck with the messages and sometimes too many phone calls and you're just overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. Or I would say when people come for sessions and it's like a dad who doesn't want to participate, or somebody that's just kind of dragging their leg, and it ruins the mood of whoever booked the session. So like if you have a dad who's just like, I don't want to participate, I don't want to be here, and it's too complicated to get them to act like they want to be there, because that really does reflect in the photos. If we're getting like authentic laughs and they're not participating, or a teenager who is doing graduation and they're just like, I don't want to be here, that really reflects on the photos instead of just having fun with it. And it's like, it's only 15, 30 or 60 minutes, like it'll go by like that. It'll make the person who booked them happy. So sometimes you just have to suck it up. So that would probably be a downer, because it's like, this is such a cute session, and then I'm like, Dad, you can go over there. I'm going to do pictures with Mom and the kids because you don't want to participate.
There's only so much editing you can do.
Not even editing, it's just you can feel the energy, I feel like, through the photos. Like, these are such authentic laughs, and then here's Dad, like, so I would say that kind of puts a damper on it when you're like, I'm so excited for this session, Mom's excited for this session, or whoever, and then the other people just don't want to participate. So that kind of puts the damper on it. So I would say that, and then sometimes being too stressed out and trying to do too many things.
Okay, so time for the question you didn't really want to answer.
I don't know how to answer it.
What's an uncommon fact?
Uncommon fact. I'm going to go with the one that I told you.
But
a lot of people don't expect me to have that. I have the briefcase in my trunk, and it's like hairspray, bug spray, suntan lotion, medications, Tide to get stains out. You have
that's smart.
Sewing kit, like so many different things. So if you have
do you know how to sew?
No, but but I bring it with. At a wedding, there's always a grandma or a mom. So
that's true. That's true.
I bring the supplies. I don't have to use it. It's got like the nice hanger for wedding dress photos. Like emergency kit type stuff. So I bring all of that with me for sessions and for weddings and events. So if you need something, it's in my trunk.
That is uncommon, I would think.
Scissors, tape, pens, snacks, because you get a lot of groomsmen that are drunk by the middle of the day and they need a granola bar.
That's smart, but that's also not really your responsibility.
It's not, but when the photos depend on how other people act, or if something comes up or whatever, sometimes you just have to stick to a timeline. So that's where it comes into wearing other hats. When I'm not a wedding planner, but sometimes I have to act like one. I'm not grandma here to sew, but sometimes you just have to figure it out. So that's where it comes into, like, the sole purpose of your job is to get good photos, and sometimes you can't do that unless you do other things. So that's a lot of times people would not expect that, where you're doing a lot of planning, or coming in with emergency kit items or whatever it may be. You wouldn't expect that. So that's a good one. That's a good fact.
What about like picture tricks? Like, do you have any of those?
Do you mean like how to get rid of like a double chin or like what do you mean?
Yeah, like that.
Tricks.
Like any ways that I can take a selfie better or something.
Take a selfie better. I would say most people have a side that they're comfortable on. So always, if you have a spouse or a partner, figuring out what side you feel better on and always going on that side. Like me, you can tell like a lot of people will put their nose ring or jewelry or stuff on the side that they feel more comfortable. So picking that, whatever way your head feels more natural to turn to.
This way.
That way? Okay, so you have a preferred side. That's why she picked this side of the screen, too.
Yeah.
She said my good side.
True, this is my good side.
So, like, picking the good side that you feel most confident on, I always tell people, if you're bending a leg, bend to the one that's closest to the camera, because otherwise, if it's the other way, it can make you look wider. Sometimes with, like, maternity shots, when your hand is up higher instead of lower, it can make your arm look bigger. So different tricks like that, things that you notice when you're shooting, I'll correct it. So a lot of times it'll take me 5 minutes to get one shot that takes 1 second to take, but you're setting up the posing for that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'll have couples that rest their heads together and I'm like, put your nose on the other side because you look like you have a beard then and you don't have a beard.
Yeah.
So like flipping stuff like that, it's really just like a case by case thing. But yeah, leaning a little bit forward helps with the neck. So that's why I'm sitting back in this chair and I'm like but yes, kind of doing that, leaning a little bit forward helps with a double chin. Trying to think of what else. So many different tricks.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever kiss a dude with a beard, put your nose on the outside towards the camera. Because if his is on this side, it looks like you have a beard.
I never had done that before.
Guess you won't kiss a guy with a beard now.
No. Okay.
Like different, you know, different tricks that you wouldn't think of until you look at the photos. But that all comes with a learning process. So obviously when I started, I didn't think of any of these. But then you look back when you're editing and you're like, oh, I wish I would have changed that. So then you fix it for the next one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, different things like that.
Nice. The only one I pay attention to is making sure my bra strap's not showing.
That too. That's very true.
That's kind of my extent too when I'm taking pictures for people.
Just making sure.
It's just make sure it's covered up.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. I'll have like safety pins. We'll just put them back together in the back and you would never know. There's so many things that people don't expect that are behind the scenes. Like you would never know. And I think that's really cool because like you could have your stuff, you know, safety pinned in the back and you can have someone holding your wedding dress off to the side and you could have someone standing on a box and like you would never know because that's the best part is giving you a final image that doesn't look like what you thought it did. Yeah. You know? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, me too. Last question before we get into some trivia.
Oh God.
What?
I wasn't prepared.
They're kind of hard, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
But it's going to be fun.
Okay.
What is advice you would give to a future photographer looking to start their own company?
That's good. I would say you have a lot of people that are gonna not look down on you, but try to degrade kind of what you're doing, if that makes sense, or kind of think it's a joke, or not take full pride in what you do as much as you do. And a lot of people that are in the small business community will realize your customers become your friends before your friends become your customers, if that makes sense. So I think just kind of going at your own pace, learning as much as you can, and doing what is comfortable for you. You know, whether that's like pricing or, you know, setting up your own business or whatever, go at your own rate and do what's best for you and always keep going.
I like that. Your customer becomes your friends before your friends become your customers.
I have my best friends that I met through work. And, like, they were my clients. And then they're like, how old are you? I'm like, we're the same age. You want to hang out? And the rest is history. But that's honestly, and still to this day, they pay me in full, even though I say don't do that, and they will still tip me. You have friends that you've known before you start your business that won't even share a Facebook post for you. So it's just one of those, you see who your true family and friends are when you realize who's behind you and who's encouraging you. And like I said, I have strangers that are not strangers, that were becoming my clients, and we talk all the time now. And I'm like, hey, how are you? How's the baby? How's whatever? And they check up on you, and they share your posts, and they encourage you, versus people that were before your company started that are just kind of like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute small business. And, you just really reflect on that. Yeah. So that's my motto that I go by.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Random question from what you just said. Are you supposed to tip?
So,
or is it like recommended?
It's not recommended. It's always appreciated. So some people, some photographers will include either like tax or tip into it. But since we make our own prices, it's not expected. Always appreciated, but it's the same concept of like when people go for nails or hair, they tip typically. Yeah. So yeah, it's appreciated, but I never expect it. It's always a pleasant thing to see. But I do tell people the best way to tip is to tag your photographer, share their post, and those are all free things to do. That's a compliment to your photographer. So to refer them to other people for sessions, share their work, different things like that, because that helps keep them in business. And if you see Lexi's photos or somebody else who has posted and you're like, wow, I really like those, and then she shares the information, then you can see who the photographer was. And it's just word of mouth. So I think that really helps. So I always ask my clients to do that for me, or if they like their work, to tag me or share my information and stuff like that.
While we're talking about that, would you like to tell them your social media?
Yes. So do you include it on here?
Yeah, I'll put it like on the screen.
On the thing. Okay. So JB Photography, and here's my wonderful logo. And then JB Photography photos on the Instagram. So on Instagram.
It will be tagged below.
Yes.
Yes. Cool. Do you have anything else you want to say before we get into trivia?
That I'm very nervous for trivia, and I was not told that we have trivia today.
No, it's always a surprise. Okay, here we go. Give me a minute, since I need to think on my feet, because I can't do trivia.
I know zero. That's what I'm saying, though, is like so many photographers either go the self-taught route and know the basics, or they know the history and the whatever of crap that they teach you in college that I never did. So
okay, so for your 2022 Christmas sessions,
okay,
what background did you use? What did it look like?
Is it the red one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why are you making me second guess?
No,
I'm second guessing my own work right now.
But what did it look like?
I had a red background. I had some Christmas trees on the side, like a little bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some decorations.
Okay. We got it.
Just like I'm scrolling all the way down.
I know, I'm going far.
I really don't use my Instagram as much as I do my Facebook. So
we're going to go to your website.
Oh, I just made it.
In 2023, you have 9 mini sessions. Name 3, at least 3, but you should be able to name all of them.
I should.
But name at least 3 of the themes they are.
Definitely have the Michael Myers.
Yes.
Christmas.
Do you know the dates?
I don't. I don't even know what today is, to be honest. She messaged me to come over tomorrow. Yes, I will be here. What's today? Don't know.
Okay, so we're not going to say the dates, but Michael Myers.
Yes. Everything's in my planner. I'm not that disorganized. I just don't know up here. Anyways, Michael Myers, Christmas. So we have regular Christmas and Santa. And then we're going to do beach for sure. I also think I'm going to add in fishing and lemonade stand, possibly for the summer. I don't think those are on there yet. Let's see, what other holidays? We had Easter, that was already done. What months? So I have a fall mini, so I'm going to do regular, like outdoor fall ones. What am I missing?
Back to school.
Back to school. Those are fun. Those are like towards end of summer, early fall. What else? I think that brings me to the end of the year, no?
Yeah, you're good.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I know what's going on in my own business sometimes.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like you should.
I should. They're written down. I just don't know offhand, you know?
Yeah. But that's okay, because you're never really going to need to just know that unless you come to a place like this.
Yeah, right. And if anything, I'm like, go to the website, it's on there,
Exactly.
or contact me and I'll send you information when I'm by my schedule and not being interviewed.
Exactly.
The pressure's not on.
No. Okay, here we go. No, I don't like that question,
No,
actually. That might have to be it. This is like off topic, but I like your small business page.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a small business page on Facebook. So if you want to join too, by the way, join on there, and you can get other businesses to come here if you want.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different types. But yeah, I like to refer people for, like, if they need their hair or makeup done for a session, you know,
Yeah.
incorporating people like that. And we just have a cool Facebook page where people will, like, ask questions or post ads or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we didn't really do trivia. Thanks for watching this episode, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go book her. Is it booking?
Book.
Yeah, go book her. For your stuff.
For your stuff.
Your baby showers, your weddings, everything.
Mm-hmm. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Young or Dumb. I hope you enjoyed the subject and learned something new. Stick around and listen to another episode after you subscribe. And remember, be happy and be chill.